Hey, I'm Chaps.
No, I'm Rip.
Welcome to our new show, The Funniest Movie Ever. In each episode, one of us will suggest a new comedy to watch and discuss. Then,
Well, each season will be 12 episodes. At the end of the season, we are going to assign each movie a number from 1 to 12. 1 being the best, 12 being the worst. Once we have ranked our movies 1 to 12, they will face off in a bracket-style elimination tournament until we have crowned a Season 1 champion.
Season 1 is underway now with new episodes dropping every other Wednesday, and you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Welcome to The Funniest Movie Ever. I'm Chaps, and that's Rip over there. And we're just two dudes who love funny movies talking about funny movies. And by no means are we experts.
Not an expert.
Isn't that like not a doctor?
Oh, I absolutely ripped it off.
You just ripped that off. I love
that.
that. Yeah. Okay, so welcome to our podcast where we basically try to find the funniest movie of all time. And before we get into the movie this week, let's check in with my co-host Rip. How are you? What's new? And what have you been watching?
Pretty good. No complaints. My partner and I, we were watching Apple TV program, which we recently got Apple TV Plus back. Apple TV Plus. That's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Sneaky good stuff on there.
What'd you watch?
Presumed Innocence. Have you heard of this?
Is that the Jake?
It's the Jake Gyllenhaal one, yeah.
Okay.
So like when I say like she watched 5 episodes, and then I finally was like, oh, like what are you watching? Even though she's been telling me she's been watching it for the last like month now. I have a bone to pick with like these kind of courtroom drama shows because they suck you in with like a lot of juice, right? You're always like, oh, like I don't know who did it, like who's the
a
murderer,
lot of
like,
juice,
like what's going on, right?
Yeah.
But then they always end up just getting so batshit crazy. And for me, I came in when there was only like 2 episodes left, so like spoilers here.
Whoa! Are you about to legitimately just spoil the show for me?
Are you ever gonna watch this?
I might one day. Okay, fine. I'll plug my ears, but you can tell the fans.
Also, you will not remember.
It's true.
Where was I? Yeah, so like what I'm saying is basically it's always like really nice and flashy, right? Like it looks like it's shot like wonderfully. Right. And then the writing just goes off the fucking wall. Like it starts going from like, oh yeah, I could see this happening to like, sorry, like his fucking kid did it. Like
just like completely unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, like you would never be able to piece it. And that's my biggest gripe too, is when you can't piece together something.
That is annoying because it doesn't feel earned when they like do the flip at the end. You're like, you didn't plant any breadcrumbs that I just kind of missed. You know what I mean?
Scooby-Doo it. Like you would never.
It's the groundskeeper.
And I mean, you and I would guess the groundskeeper now because we've watched Scooby-Doo. Yeah. But you can't piece that together. Like 8-year-old me sitting there like at lunch trying to piece together who murdered fucking, I don't know, Billy the fisherman.
Right. Is that who it is? Is Billy the fisherman who gets murdered?
Who murdered Billy the fisherman in Scooby-Doo? And I'm like, what the fuck? The groundskeeper? We just got introduced to him. What is this shit?
No, I get that. That does bother me too in those like mystery movies when you can't, like you said, you can't put the pieces together. You want to be the guy in the room with the red yarn,
right?
Tying it all together in your mind.
It's like, listen to me. I have a really boring office job all day. I need this. I need to come home and I need to be a couch detective. Okay, don't steal this from me.
I just pictured Charlie Day in that episode of Always Sunny where he's got all the.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
That's great.
I'm sipping like water out of a cup of coffee like mug just so I look like I'm a detective.
Love that for you.
Yeah. So that's my gripe. Other than that, great week.
Nice. No, that's good.
What are you watching?
Great. What did we watch this week? We've done some scary movies recently, my partner and I. We did It, which I'm normally, I hate scary movies, but when it's like a thing like It, the clown, I just don't find them believable. You know what I mean? Like it's like, obviously that's a made up creature thing.
I mean, we had a clown scare a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember this.
We did? What do you mean we?
We as a society.
Oh yeah, when the clowns were on the trails.
I mean, that's not right.
Quit clowning. But yeah, the clowns on the trails, right?
I think they were just like everywhere, right?
I remember someone told me a story where they were like on a run on a trail.
Is that pre or post pandemic?
It seemed like it was
during.
I think it was a during.
That's crazy.
Episode. I don't know. Also, what is time? So who knows?
Anyway.
But yeah, so we watched that, and then we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the remakes. And honestly, that's just a garbage slasher. So easy for me. It's the ghost stories that I like, hauntings, and things like Sinister. I hate those ones, but yeah, I enjoyed.
I have a question for you then with these Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Right?
How many have you seen?
I've seen like some of the old 80s ones and this new 2007 one.
So
I can't remember what it was.
this one was 2007.
I can't. It was
So
it was
just,
more
like,
modern.
You know, we figure like what, like Freddy Krueger's been like haunting dreams for like 40, 50 plus years.
Yeah. He's getting tired.
Like, here's my question for you. Do you think he's ever like fucked up when he like enters a new dream that's like 30 years from his first dream and he's like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit, right? Because he's not used to like what's going on in the outside world.
You're under the assumption that he's like he goes to like what, like his own sleep and then every 30 years he comes back and haunts again. Is that like what you're saying?
Well,
so like in the 80s
that begs a different question. Is he consistently haunting or is he taking like hiatuses from haunting?
Well, see, so the way this movie, we're talking about the wrong movie, but yes, I want to finish this train of thought. This was like a remake. It wasn't like a continuation of the 80s
but
movies.
What year is it?
I can't remember. It was modern times. Like it was like,
yeah. So that's my question, right? So it's like if you woke up from a coma, for like 30 years, you'd be like, holy shit! Like look at technology and stuff.
I get that.
So like if I'm dreaming and I'm dreaming about like a fucking Best Buy, and Freddy Krueger's in my Best Buy dream, isn't he like, holy shit? Like look at TVs nowadays.
100%. I think he would have that reaction, but in this movie, that's not the case because like the story, like the kids were killed or something like that back in the day, like in the 80s. I don't know. Sure. Let's just go for sure.
That's a win.
Yeah, you got this one. I'll give you this one.
That's a rip win.
Yeah. And then other than that, I'm looking forward to this week because I have my disc finals coming up. We're in the ship.
Oh, okay.
We're playing for the ship, so it's gonna be a good week.
That's fun.
We also saw Alien Romulus on the weekend, which was
actually, I did want to ask you about that.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I saw a bit of movie news that I want to ask you about.
Okay.
So they're making a John Madden movie.
Okay.
Do you know who's been cast to play him, or do you have any guesses?
Oh my god. Like, okay. How old is he in the movie?
He's someone we both love.
How old is he in the movie?
I don't know.
Is
any.
It Jack Black?
It's not. But that honestly, that would be pretty good casting. I would like that.
My first guess, which would have been wrong because he's dead.
Hello, a fly route.
That was pretty good. My first guess would have been wrong because he is dead. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I mean, yeah, he probably would have nailed it.
And his son is just way too young, which is why I asked you how old John Madden is.
I don't know if I've seen Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. Have I? Maybe. I don't know.
He's,
something to look up.
I think he's in the new SNL movie coming out. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Who is playing John Madden?
Nick Cage.
No, he's not.
That's the news. That's the news. Yeah, I don't know.
Nicolas Cage is John Madden. Do you think he could throw a spiral?
Yes.
No, not a chance,
I do think
right?
he could.
You think he could?
I think that he probably like tried out for some sort of role back in the day that made him learn how to throw a football, and he just never forgot it. That's like Nick. You know Nick Cage. He's a character actor. The guy loves his method acting.
I don't think for a second that guy can throw a football.
Like he was up against fucking Tom Cruise in Varsity Blues, that high school football movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
No, I'm just like he was up for the role.
This is the kind of guy I picture as Nick Cage. I picture him as somebody who cannot throw a football worth shit, but he takes the field because he's trying to learn for the role he's doing.
Right.
And he fucking dummies somebody who's not expecting it. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, okay, Nick, like, lightly tackle him. And then he fucking goes, whoa!
he pulls like a Sandler.
110%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. That's great. Another bit of movie stuff I want to get your thoughts on. Pitt and Clooney teaming up again.
I saw that. Again, Apple TV Plus.
What are your thoughts on that? I don't know anything about this movie. I just saw that they're
I don't know
together.
anything either. I can imagine Brad Pitt eats a ton in this movie.
He's always eating stuff.
Based on
snacking.
The pretty poster for it, it looks like they're going to be doing a lot of stakeouts.
I'm in for a stakeout movie.
I want to say I watched the trailer, but it has left no imprint on me at all.
Yeah.
But regardless, I will watch anything Brad Pitt's in.
No, perfect. I'm on the same boat. I haven't seen the trailer. Don't know anything about the movie. Yeah. I just saw Clooney and Pitt are back together.
Yeah.
And I really want to see that.
Yeah, that's fun.
And the last little bit I wanted to ask you about, I know you recently saw Twisters.
I did.
We haven't had a chance to fully talk about it, so give me your rundown thoughts on that.
Twisters. Oh, my guy Glenn Powell, huge fan. I thought that they did a really good job capturing, that like fun, like unserious tone. It's very like, like let's just go with the flow. Let's have a good time. Like, why you're here. We're here to see, a tornado catch on fire.
Of course. I love that too. Like that vibe, that, where are they, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
They really capture that Oklahoma spirit.
I
Like
mean, again,
what I imagine Oklahoma to be.
Been
'Cause
Oklahoma, but
the Midwest,
but they nailed it.
Never been anywhere there, but yeah, I loved it too. It was such a good, just a fun action romp.
I mean, I made the mistake of trying to understand the plot of this movie. I do have gripes with it. For example,
what don't you understand?
Well, there's an investor that's buying up land that's been destroyed by tornadoes, correct?
Yes. He's a shady businessman.
Whatever he's building on that land, is a tornado not just going to come in and destroy it too?
Tornadoes are like lightning. They never strike twice in the same space.
Literally. It doesn't seem like that good of a business model.
Honestly, you're right. Yeah, it's like who in the right mind starts investing in real estate in Tornado Alley?
He's like, what is it, the Southern guy from Simpsons coming in? Yeah, trying to buy like cheap land, pennies for the dollar, and like he's just like, oh yeah, like you said, tornadoes are going to strike the same place twice. It's literally called Tornado Alley. Yeah,
and this is Twisters. This is a sequel.
Is there a difference between a tornado and a twister?
I honestly do not know. My best guess would be size. Is that a thing? Like twisters are the small ones, and you know what I mean. You're looking at me like you mean relative, like there's the EF5 and the EF4 or whatever.
Is that real?
Why did they change the ranking system from F4 to EF4? Like the original Twister was just that's an F4.
Oh,
yeah.
I actually don't remember.
It just rolls off the tongue a lot cleaner.
It does. You're right. I will say though, they handled the exposition like really well, and also like just explaining how tornadoes work, like that.
A lot of visual aids.
A lot of visual aids.
a lot of vortexes.
Yeah. Also, I like that they didn't kiss at the end.
Yeah, you totally thought they were going, but I mean, the whole running after her in the plane,
like
that's good. Like I think that's better. It's like, he went for her.
Yeah, I like that.
I also love the using of the truck, like that souped up.
Do you think after this movie, people tried to install like those drills into their trucks?
Well, have you not seen, like there was a show on, what was it, Discovery, called like Storm Chasers, where these people had these trucks already. Like these are a thing. Like this movie's coming. Yeah, this movie's coming a couple years late. Like this was already a fad. Like where people would soup up these trucks and like put like drills and shit in them and hunker down during a twister or tornado or whatever you want to call it.
But like,
do I think it's gonna start again? Maybe.
I would be mad. Honestly, I would watch that guy's YouTube channel. As someone who doesn't watch a lot of YouTube,
a lot of fun.
That would get me to watch.
I mean, shooting a firework off at a twister was amazing.
Wicked.
I'm here for that.
Wicked.
Oh, also, by the way, twister spoilers.
To go along with your presumed innocent spoilers, your Freddy Krueger spoilers.
Yeah, and your upcoming spoilers for the movie we watched this week. Excellent segue. So this week, Rip and I watched a 2014, I'm not going to call it a classic, but fun movie, A Million Ways to Die in the West by director Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, hey, look, it's the ice. Why is it so big?
So it doesn't melt. It's actually really interesting how they do it. It's this one company out in Boston that... That went south so fast! The American West is a terrible place in time. Everything out here that's not you wants to kill you. Angry drunk people, hungry animals, outlaws. The doctor.
I couldn't save her.
She had a splinter. Doc, what the hell were you supposed to do?
Seth is joined by his fellow Family Guy producers and writers, Alex Sulkin and Wellesley Wild.
I can't get over that guy wrote this. My first question when I saw the credits pop up on screen was, is this a made-up person just because it's funny to go with the theme? Like, there's no way this guy's real name is this.
I totally agree with you, but like when I was doing a little bit of internet research behind this, it makes sense that like these three, apparently they used to just joke about this all the time, like how miserable it would have been to grow up in the West.
Oh,
I can only assume Wellesley, I hope I'm saying that right, Wild kind of just had that feeling growing up because his last name was Wild. Like he just loved the Wild West. Yeah, so this is an ensemble movie. Has a pretty stellar cast. Like I actually like a lot of the people in this movie, and a lot of them I think are doing a lot of good work. Like you got Seth MacFarlane, obviously, and then there's Charlize Theron. Is that how you Theron? Theron?
Yeah.
Liam Neeson, Giovanni Ribisi, one of our fan favorites here at the pod. Neil Patrick Harris and Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah. Sarah Silverman too.
Oh yeah, I forgot Sarah Silverman. I always screw up saying Amanda Seyfried's name, so I was trying to make sure I got that one right.
That sounded right to me.
Yeah, so basically, if you don't know what A Million Ways to Die in the West is, this is a movie about a cowardly farmer who begins to fall for the mysterious new woman in town, and then he must put his newfound courage to the test when her gunslinger notorious husband arrives on the scene, played by Liam Neeson. And it really just takes a look at how awful it would have been to be in the frontier of the Wild West. I have a couple of trivia notes for you on this one. I want to know if you want to hear them now, or do you want me to sprinkle them in throughout?
Hit me. Let's hit the ground running. What do you got?
There's one I'm definitely going to save, so you'll know it when that one comes up. But apparently, I have two. I have two and a quote.
Okay.
Apparently, Liam Neeson only agreed to play Clinch if he could do his Irish accent that he was doing during the movie, which I kind of just love that Liam Neeson's like, oh, look, Seth, I'll do it, but I have to have an Irish accent the whole time.
No, we're not going to touch on this because I have like too many thoughts and we don't have enough time for that. So
you don't even want to give me one take?
No.
Fair enough. And I guess this isn't trivia, maybe this is just more so knowledge, but apparently there's an extended cut of this movie with 20 more minutes of footage and an alternate beginning and an alternate ending. I haven't seen it. I don't know if anyone out there has seen it, but I would love to know what's different, because how else are you opening and closing this movie?
I don't know. Also, just like, why? Personally, like, I thought the movie was fine, but like, I found the pacing like not great.
Yeah.
So an extra 20 minutes sounds like a nightmare to me.
It definitely drags in places. Before we dive right into the movie itself, I do apparently this is just like a little fun bit of information I found when I was researching it in a Variety article. When Seth MacFarlane was turning 40, one of the composers on the movie gave him an instrument, which is basically this tube with a blowhole on it attached to like a keyboard. It's called a melodica, and it had a note attached to it. It was just like, it said, if there's a hair on your ass, you'll be playing this on the score. So start practicing.
Oh.
So I just want to know that Seth actually learned how to play that instrument. That'd be pretty funny.
I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that would learn how to do it ironically, right? So that's my takeaway from this entire movie.
Yeah, he does things ironically.
It's just, everything's just a bit.
Just to kick things off, we're going to jump right into our George format of things and discuss this movie at large. Basically, we're just going to go through it and talk about what were the funniest scenes, all that sort of stuff. And then at the end, we'll have a couple of awards to hand out for the top 5 funniest moments or scenes in the movie, who we thought was the most valuable comedian. And we'll do a bit of a head-to-head where we pit this movie up against a couple of other ones from the same year. So yeah, Rip, why don't you just give me a top line of what you think about this movie?
Let's start right from the beginning, I guess. This is like really timely because I've been watching a lot of Family Guy lately. I stopped watching probably in like 2013 and just completely forgot that it existed. I've been picking it up again and it's hilarious. I've truly forgot how funny this show is. And I think like it fell off for a bit, which is probably why I stopped. But then like somehow it found its groove again.
I don't know. We were watching it together the other day and I was kind of out on it.
I mean, like, if you know me, then you know, like, this is my style of humor. Like, I love it when things are run into the ground and then they stop running it into the ground just to, like, make you think, oh, they're done. But then they keep running it into the ground again.
There's a couple jokes in here that do that.
There is, yeah. But yeah, like, really, it felt like Seth. Like, it felt like a Family Guy episode.
Yeah.
And I mean, you catch that right away when you start the movie with the intro and credits. You don't get a lot of like long intro credit scenes anymore to start a movie.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up because I love the intro
I love
credits.
It too.
Like,
I do love it.
I was like, where does this movie take place? And I kind of looked it up. It takes place in Arizona. You get all those beautiful landscapes. And it really felt like a Western. I'm like, oh, wow, they're like really playing into the theme of it all.
So it's 1880 in the West, the Wild
Midwest,
West.
The Wild
Midwest,
West, frontier. The frontier, they always call it.
What did the East look like? You never hear about the East.
Yeah, you don't, because that's where like New York and Boston and like established cities were.
What do those look like?
Not like what they look like now, but bigger than what the small town looks like in this movie.
How can you just have such drastically different landscapes where, like, you know, you walk into a saloon and you shoot somebody, but in the East, what are they fucking going to Wall Street?
Yeah, is that kind of were? I think
is that a real thing?
I don't have the time to get into how America colonized the rest of the country.
Well, hey, I mean, that's stupid question number one.
Have you ever played a video game called Red Dead Redemption?
I actually haven't.
That'll
I
give you an
haven't.
idea of how this works.
Okay, well, that's question one. The other two aren't relevant yet, but they will make an appearance at some point.
I did, before we dive into some of the scenes, I want to ask you, how do you feel about Westerns in general? Like,
Not great.
Yeah, I kind of might not be your cup of tea.
I've had Tombstone on my to watch list forever.
Right.
I've heard nothing but good things. I took history in undergrad, a course that was literally all about the battle at OK Corral.
Okay.
Loved it.
That sounds awesome.
But yeah, I have no desire to watch Western movies.
Hey man, they
including that
are
movie.
They are a bit of like an acquired taste, I think, because they've just been gone for so long. Like you don't see them anymore. There's just but there was True Grit. There was the Quentin Tarantino Hateful Eight one. Like they pop up Django. Like they still happen from time to time. But like I don't know. I think if you're gonna watch one, there's a really good one. I'm gonna forget the name of it. It's like is it Kurt Russell and Christian Bale. And he basically has to get Kurt Russell's character to the train on time. It's like the 310 to Yuma, not the 310 to Yuma, but one of those.
That is a movie.
I can't remember what the title is.
I haven't seen that movie either.
It's actually really fun. It's a good Western. I would definitely watch that one. And Tombstone's really good as well.
In line with my taste in comedies, and there's a bit of a crossover because it's a Western. I have seen Adam Sandler's Ridiculous Six, which I think is a play on the Hateful Eight.
I don't know if I've seen Ridiculous Six. I think I've put it on and then it was like, I can't.
It's horrible.
Yeah. I remember it being pretty bad. I just want to hit you with this. My first laugh of the movie was Miss America 1880.
That's a pretty good bit.
It got me right away.
That's pretty good.
I was wondering, did you have a first laugh, something that just got you?
I want to say maybe 5 to 7 minutes in, somebody calls somebody yellow.
Yeah,
that always gets me.
Yeah. What are you, yellow? and then there's the whole bit about
it's offensive to our friends here.
Yes, exactly.
Good cutaway.
Yeah.
He loves a good cutaway.
I was actually happy to see the cutaways. That's great because you bring me to one of the first big scenes of the movie. Is that it's the duel and the breakup, right? It's Seth's character. He's standing across the street from I forget what that guy's name was, but they're about to fight, and that whole sequence, I thought it was really funny. But he's like, "Look at our shadows! Look at our shadow! Oh, they're about to kiss! Oh,
that's funny,
and
right?
Now you're and oh, thank you!"
Right, and you would have made that better is if it lasted an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, and what I do love is that they cut to Ribisi's character at one point, and he's actually he's killing himself. He thinks it's the best stuff he's ever seen. I wrote down a couple more things. I really like when they're breaking up. Amanda Seyfried's character, she goes, "People are living to be 35 these days."
Yeah.
There's a lot of great little
he sets the
lines.
tone really early, and it's good. I mean, you get it, right? Like the name is self-explanatory. Like we get what we're going with.
Yeah. Then we're introduced to Ribisi's Edward character and his girlfriend Sarah Silverman. Yeah. Geez, I almost said Silverstone. Sarah Silverman. Geez. But yeah, her character's named Ruth, and his response to her job, and he goes, "Well, my job sucks too." Oh,
actually, that's so funny. This is one of the first things I wrote down, where the bartender, I can't remember her name, it's Alex something, but yeah, she says, "So you're okay with your girlfriend screwing a bunch of dudes?" And he goes, "My job sucks too."
Yeah,
and I felt that so hard.
That's so funny.
Too relatable. Honestly, that's a joke that I definitely laughed at when this came out in 2014, but I didn't really know why I was laughing at it. Now as a 32-year-old man, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, you get what he's talking about.
Yeah.
His job does suck too.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever actually say what his job is, but I imagine it's some sort of
a shoe repairman.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't catch that at all.
It doesn't seem that bad.
What is it? A cobbler?
Yeah, but I also love that they call him shoe repairman. Was cobbler not an established title for that job back
cobbler
then?
was from the UK probably. And at that time, couldn't have anything from the UK.
You're doing that thing where you talk to me with confidence as if you know, but I guarantee there's a cobbler listening to this right now, and they're like, this guy.
If there's any cobblers out there, please write in.
Tell us. So insulting.
And then in this whole collection of scenes, that's when we first get Seth's bit. This is a recurring bit throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. The whole not smiling in photos in the 1800s, just thinking oh, someone does that, they're crazy. Why would you ever smile in a photo?
For 30 seconds, you're going to stand there with a smile. Yeah. It's
sounds insane.
Good bit.
And it comes back time and time again. And it gets funnier. Then for me, it was just I'm over it.
You're done.
You did it. You did it already.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. What is it? There's one part where they're at the county fair.
Yeah.
And they're watching, I guess this is where he introduces the bit of not smiling to Charlize Theron's character, right?
Right, yeah.
And the guy's okay, counting them down, and then he just catches on fire.
Yeah, he just blows up. And then the two cowboys off to the side, they're like, hold still, and they just shoot him. They just unload a gun.
I need more spontaneous combustion in movies and TV again.
Remember when spontaneous combustion was like a gigantic fear?
Was it? Or was that just because we watched South Park as children and
that
that was
I
a real
remember
thing?
Ripley's Believe It or Not had a huge special about spontaneous.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, spontaneous combustion that really scared me for a long time.
Probably shouldn't have been watching Spike at that age, but
Yeah, probably not.
again, Spike TV, for people who don't understand, is what, like a adult men's channel, but really only kids probably watch it.
Yeah, and it had great shows such as Deadliest Warrior, where they put a Spartan against a pirate.
How would you even describe that? It's like, I guess, like A&E history, but like for jocks.
Yeah, and then it was also like the home of the video game awards too. So like a lot of nerds were into it as well, me included. Yeah, so after we get these first introductions to all of our characters and some of the bits, we move into a bar scene where Albert kind of goes on this massive rant. It's just a big parade of jokes. I thought a lot of it was really funny. Like I love he's talking about all the ways you could die in the West, right? And he just has a whole litany of things. One of them being the pastor shot 2 guys and then gave them a sermon about it.
Yeah, that's good.
He shot the one out of fear of revenge, that he would come back and take revenge on him for killing his dad.
He kills his son. Yeah, that's a good bit.
And then you got the coal miners who, since they work all day with coal, they have no taste buds and eat only foods drenched in spice, and they die from their farts.
Okay, see, funny concept. I like that. Like, okay, that makes sense. You know, they can't taste anything. Of course, they're eating spicy food. A little too many fart jokes for me.
Yeah, there was a bunch. It kind of got out of hand when it reached the duel with Foy.
Yeah,
great name for Neil Patrick Harris's character, where he just shits in that hat.
Oh my god,
it was really gross.
Have you seen Blazing Saddles?
I have seen Blazing Saddles.
Is that a play on that?
It is, because my dad told me this ages ago. I don't remember the whole movie, but my dad showed it to me. And there's a scene, they're sitting around the campfire and they all start farting or something like that. Yeah, apparently Blazing Saddles is like the first movie to ever have a fart in it. And my dad loves telling me that. I have no idea if it's true, but
that seems like a dad fact for sure. Dad facts.
Yeah. And then another bit from that rant that really got me was the old the doctor one. It's like, you go to a doctor and I had a cold last week. He's like, oh, you need an ear nail for that.
Oh, the blue jay? Oh, what? So you can tell me it needs a blue jay to like peck the blood out of me? Yeah.
I love that. And then another bit that really gets me every time is after they're leaving the bar is you really shouldn't drink in horse, man.
I had that too. Yeah, the drinking horse.
So actually just falling out of the saddle.
Excellent segue. We're all about segues today into my second question of Rip Stupid Questions.
Okay.
Are horses like dogs?
In which way?
So, you know, I've watched Homeward Bound as a child.
Yeah, same.
Those 2 dogs and that cat made it all the way home from who knows where, right? Do horses just have that instinct where they know how to find their home?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like, he falls asleep drunk on the horse and then just ends up at his house. Do horses know where they're going?
I'm sure if a horse spends enough time in a stable, like, again, here I go talking confidently without knowing, but it makes sense. It's
also
like
dropping stables. Like, were stables a thing back then? It kind of looks like they just tie them up to bike racks.
Yeah, the hitch and post.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's a hitch. You've never played a video game, have you?
I haven't, no. And also I wrote down horse bike rack like 7 times in my notes.
Horse bike. Because I kind of wish that was a joke in the movie. It's like, yeah, you tie it to the horse bike rack.
That brings me to
What's a bike?
My third stupid question. How many horses can you fit tied to one of those horse bike racks? Like, you know what I mean?
The
like,
general rule of thumb is 3.
If you see 5, like at a horse bike rack, like, are you like, oh, I can fit my horse in there, and you just like tie him up to like the leg of that horse bike rack?
I think that's like frowned upon.
Is it frowned upon?
But you do see later in the movie when he's hallucinating. I think it's like something from his childhood. No, he's riding the penny farthing bike, the big wheel bike.
I hate that you called it that, because I also just wrote big wheel bike.
And he crashes it into the row of horses and they all fall over like they're motorcycles outside the park.
Yeah, right. But now, is that just a long bike rack? Great bit, but begs the question.
Well, too bad they didn't use bike rack as the bit in there.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I kind of got derailed there, but
I tend to do that.
That's fine. This is the George format is fluid. We don't have to go in order of everything. We'll jump around. But there's a couple other scenes I want to call out. And this is when Edward sort of checks on Albert the next day because he's all fucked up and he hasn't seen him in a while. And he's like, you haven't sheared your sheep in a week. And we get another cutaway gag and it's just a sheep walking into the wall. Like, can't see anything. It's so low hanging fruit, but it works.
Do we think like Seth MacFarlane just had like a journal of like sheep jokes?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Like Jonathan.
There's so many sheep jokes. And I mean, the whole fact, like, are sheep farmers a thing?
I believe they're called shepherds.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have a shepherd, but he's a sheep farmer.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing?
I don't know why you would need to farm sheep. Like, I guess it's for shearing the
sheep shearing.
cotton.
So
Is that
do
what it
sheep
is?
shearing
No, it's
and sheep
wool,
farming,
wool, right?
is it just like an overlapping career, or do you have two separate guys for those?
I don't know, man. You're asking the wrong dude.
I have a lot of questions because I'm not well versed in the West.
That's
Maybe
fair.
if I watch more like Wild West movies, these questions would be answered.
Yeah, you'd understand that there's a process of going from the sheep farmer to the sheep shearer to then the tailor
Yeah,
to spin
yeah,
the wool.
and then a shepherd somewhere in between.
Yeah,
those
well, the
jobs.
shepherd has to take the sheep back and forth.
The shepherd. I know the shepherd is the one with that long stick.
Yeah, they're the middleman. So the farmer has the sheep at the farm
Okay.
and the grazing. Sometimes you need to move them to different pastures. So that's where the shepherd comes into play. You need someone else with that skill set that can shepherd the sheep to new pastures, and then he'll also drop them off at the sheep.
I don't. Again, like you're saying,
I'm making all this up.
it sounds very confident, and I'm gonna believe you just for the sake
You
of
definitely
time.
shouldn't, because it was a bit the entire time.
Shepherds, let us know.
But that brings me to the stick hoop. What'd you think of the stick hoop?
Wait, stick hoop.
The kids running by, like, they get back into town and the kids are running by and they're pushing a stick.
Oh, I
They're
missed
pushing a
that.
hoop with a stick, and they're like, oh, that stick hoop, it's ruining the kids' brains.
I don't remember that part at all, but good bit.
It precedes one of my favorite moments in the movie,
Which is,
the ice shipment.
I was waiting for this.
I love the ice shipment.
This is a good joke.
I think it's hilarious.
This is a good
Just,
joke.
oh, you want to go watch the ice get delivered?
Also, 1,000% I would. Like,
It sounds interesting.
What else would you do? I guess in this period, but like wait for that ice shipment to come, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, did they get ice shipments? Like, he starts talking about a company down in Boston that does it all.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, Boston, that seems weird. Like, is Boston, do they have,
Well,
like, what's the
Hey, this brings me back to my first stupid question. You know, like, is Boston just a civilized town with a ton of ice?
Well, no, I don't think so.
Well, then why is it coming from Boston?
I guess they have boats out there and they go and collect ice off the icebergs or something like that.
Well,
and they,
you don't sound confident anymore.
I don't
do ya?
sound confident at all. But I would love to know more about where the ice shipments come from. I love that. And it just drops and smushes that guy.
Right? Great follow-up joke too, where later on he's just sitting in church and he's just like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna use the ice.
Yeah. You can't believe they're still using the ice. He's so mad about it. This is also where we meet Foy for the first time. Neil Patrick Harris's character, and the owner of the mustachery shop. What did you think about this? I thought as a character, it's really funny.
I mean, I relate to this so hard. Like Seth MacFarlane walks into this mustache store, right? And he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
This is how I feel when people talk about their beards. Like, no idea.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not right. That's for this kind of mustache.
Yeah, I want one that starts on my lip and goes down my chin and up and becomes my sideburns.
Right?
Oh,
Like,
Mobius.
listen, we can't all grow nice mustaches or beards, okay? This is me. I relate hard to this.
There's a whole song dedicated to it, and we'll get to that in a bit.
There is.
Yeah. Another thing that I just like, they keep coming back to Edward and Ruth's characters, and the whole she's a lady of the night, and and he's supposed to be okay with their relationship, and they keep asking him like, are you okay with this? And he's like, well, like, I just find it so funny, like the whole premarital relations combo.
It's a funny bit for
Yeah.
sure. And it's like one of those things where like it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie, but like it's funny enough and it's a funny enough side bit that I guess
Yeah.
they kind of needed to flesh out like an hour 40, right?
That's
Because like really they don't add anything to the movie at
no,
all.
they don't. They just keep coming back to them, and like at one point she's got stuff all over her face, and I'm not going to say what it is on the pod, but you know, but yeah, they're definitely just to fill out the rest of the movie, which is honestly, I think the runtime's a bit long. I think we talked about this earlier. Like, this is where we start to kind of drag a bit. We haven't even gotten to like Clinch and was it Anna? Is that Charlize
we need to
Theron's
take a pause
character?
there because horrible name.
You don't like Clinch?
I think it's a
Clinch
horrible-
Leatherface or something like that.
Leatherwood.
That's
Is
pretty
it
funny.
Clinch Leatherwood? Horrible name.
Yeah.
Like, do better, Seth. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like it's definitely a play on Clint Eastwood, if you didn't catch that.
I
But-
didn't.
It's because you don't watch Westerns.
Is Clint Eastwood like a big Western guy? I'm kidding.
Who's Clint Eastwood? Who is he?
He's the guy that yelled at the chair.
Yeah.
Are
Are we missing anything that you caught in like the first 20 or so minutes that really caught your eye and we haven't gone over yet?
No, I mean, like, you know, they really, like I said, they really did a good job, like establishing the tone and like establishing establishing
the
the vibe of the movie. Like we get it. Like a lot of shit can kill you. Like the whole like speech about the mayor. The mayor's been dead for what, 3 days?
Yeah, and then he gets taken off by a wolf. Like a wolf, like goes and eats him.
Yeah, like I love it. Like it makes me sad, I guess, that we almost didn't do like more bits like that, and then we got kind of, I guess, caught up in the whole like love story. But I mean, I guess you need something to move the plot along, and you can't just do bits. Despite me like only wanting to watch the bits.
I totally agree with you because there's so much ripe territory in this whole, like the concept, the name of the movie itself, A Million Ways to Die in the West. There's so much there that you could do, and I think the storyline could have been simpler just to allow for more bits. Like just give us a lone gunman's coming to town and somehow Seth's character ends up saving it. Like it doesn't need to be so, for me, it doesn't need to be so fleshed out, but it is something that makes the movie really start to drag.
Yeah.
Segueing though into something that didn't drag, which is one of the scenes that I really love the most, the bar fight scene where quick, Albert, get in position. And they're just,
this was good.
They're fake fighting each other.
I wasn't sure if you're gonna bring this up right away, but yeah, they have a rehearsed bit, I guess, for when bar fights break out. They do meetings.
No one come over here. No, this fight's very violent. Don't come over here.
Perfect. I mean, honestly, that's like to me one of the funniest parts of this movie.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Again, we'll get into that later, but I mean, I guess you need Giovanni Ribisi to do that because he also sells it too, right? Like, I don't know what other actor you could do that with, where it would look so like pathetic almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying. And he's the straight man for everybody in this movie, and he just like, and he plays it so well. He's like one of my favorite characters of the movie because of how just like, I don't know, he's just unaware.
Like it's really, their dynamics are like reminiscent of like Seth Rogen and James Franco, like in Pineapple Express.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They got that vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
I do love the whole time they're throwing in those lines. It's just like, no one come over here. This fight's plenty violent on its own. We don't need you.
He actually hits him too. That's a good.
Yeah. What does he say? He's like, oh, you don't throw in a new move. That's why you have the meetings.
Yeah. I love that.
And then that of the bar fight, of course, leads to the introduction of Clinch's girl, Anna, and Seth MacFarlane's character saving her. And then that's also when Plugger finds the mayor's foot.
That's
true.
true.
Another callback.
That actually does lead me into like something that I can relate to. They're walking out of the saloon, right? And Charlize Theron tells Seth that he's a hero for saving her, and he basically responds that he is more like the guy who makes fun of the hero's shirt. Which
yeah, I get that.
I really appreciate that too. It's like, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I want to make fun of the guy in the spotlight.
Yeah,
right?
no, I 100% agree. 100% agree. I love that.
Basically, what I'm saying is like, Seth MacFarlane, can I be your friend?
That would be fun. I feel like it would be. When I was doing research on it, apparently he just had like all of the writers for Family Guy were just working out of his house for the longest time, and this is back 2014 when prior to this movie coming out, and so he bought like a $30 million office space so they would like go and work there and not trash his house every time they left.
I love that, but I also love the idea of them just like working out of like his basement, even though his basement is obviously like a mansion.
It's a movie theater. Like this was in the article as well. He has a full-on movie theater in the basement. So then after meeting Anna, we get this movie. I like kind of the structure of it because we're able to talk through it really easily. Like it's just a series of moments, and they like, I know every movie is a series of moments, but like it's the bar fight and then this fight, you know, but this leads us to the fair. They go on to the fair the next day, right?
Yeah.
This comes full circle to one of your sheep jokes with them following him to town. And he's like, no, Andrew, Jonathan, go home.
I love that. Yeah.
They have human names.
Big fan of naming, any kind of animal or pet, a human name.
Oh, this is something we already covered, but the photographer just blowing up as he takes the picture.
I also like, and again, this is like very on brand for Family Guy humor, where they're just walking through the fair casually, and the guy at the booth, I believe it's a potions and elixirs booth.
Yeah.
Calls over Seth and Charlize Theron, and he goes, basically, take a look at this elixir. They read the ingredients, and one of the ingredients is red flannel.
Yeah.
It's
bits of shirt.
Yeah, is there shirt in this? Well, there's pieces of shirt in it.
That's a good one. I really like that one. I think the fair scene has a lot of good stuff in it. And then there's this one, to me, wildly inappropriate moment, and it's the shooting gallery.
Oh my God.
Just what it's named. I'm not going to repeat it because it's just so bad.
But did you get the after credit scene with Jamie Foxx? Okay,
I
so
did. I did got that. I did get that. Yes, which was really
random cameos, eh?
Yeah, the one that like threw me. I forgot that they got Christopher Lloyd to be Doc Brown in
Yeah.
it. Like I forgot that was a thing.
Which is, it's so weird when you saw what was it, like I guess a garage, a Western garage.
Yeah, stable. That's what that is.
Stables are just Western garages. This is crazy. Did you immediately
Where else
think,
you gonna put your wagon?
did you immediately think Back to the Future 3?
Well, as soon as I saw the lightning, I'm like, it like clued in for me. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot they
didn't
did
remember
this.
that, but I thought to myself, I'm like, that'd be a really good like Back to the Future bit.
You know how much he loves Back to the Future. Like they do that in like the Stewie and Brian
true, they do, yeah.
adventures. Like it's like that's Seth grew up with that stuff, right? So it's in everything that he does.
That's so funny. Speaking of cameos too, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that was really I forgot.
Which like, are they just friends? Because he does the Ted cameo as well, right?
That's right. I forgot. And he doesn't say anything in that one either. He has the same, he just stands there and just stares. And then, well, in this one, he gets shot.
Which is so funny because I know that like in Hollywood, I guess like if extras talk, like you have to pay them extra.
Yeah,
But like that's clearly not the case. Like he's clearly just, he's just doing a bit. He just doesn't speak. And it's
That'd
so
be
much
really
funnier.
funny. That'd be really funny though if like in the background, Ryan's like, listen, if I talk, I have to charge you scale, which is what it's called. They charge at scale, which I have no idea what that means. I've heard it before.
That makes me laugh. Like they're just like buddies, but he still makes Seth like go through his agent, and he's like, "Listen, like
this is what you got to do." Sure, I'm on the law that day,
being
but
an agent, like Seth, darling, you know you gotta pay Ryan scale if he's gonna talk.
That's actually really good. You nailed that one. But yeah, so the shooting gallery kind of leads to the, I guess what it seems like the problem of the movie, but that then gets overridden by Clinch coming to town.
It's like your midpoint, I guess, right? Like now we're working towards a goal here. He's gotta beat NPH.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, the whole shooting gallery sequence leads to one of my favorite funniest moments is the crowd wanting to see the dollar.
Oh, that's a good
one. This was really funny. And he's like, let us see the dollar. Like they're just so like they've never seen a dollar before. Like that's kind of crazy to me.
Right. What is the one guy says to his son? Like, take your hat off in front of the dollar.
Yeah, take your hat off. The gasp. I also love Foy's character. That's a fine how do you do, and the crowd doesn't laugh enough, so he says it again.
Yeah. Good Family Guy humor for sure, right?
Yeah.
You gotta drag the joke on just a little bit longer.
Yeah. Which this then does lead us to our first shooting montage. This is the first montage. Is it the only montage of the movie? No, first, because the hallucination is kind of a montage. But my question here with this shooting montage. Why does it feel like they rode 7 days to get to where they're going to practice? Like they go, like they're riding and the vistas and the landscapes keep changing. And then they just end up at like some wooden fence. It's like, I'm sure Seth had that at his. I was just like.
Did you keep thinking of the Simpsons bit too with the cans?
Which one?
Where Marge and Ruth Powers start shooting cans. And then the guy comes out and he goes, my cans, my beautiful cans. Because I kept waiting for them to do it, and it's like also it's a play on the fact that Family Guy and Simpsons like steal from each other kind of thing. I thought that would have been really funny.
Yeah, it would have made sense. It would have been the perfect moment for it, right?
Right.
And then we kind of just go into the whole training montage, and I have some bones to pick with this because they do a bunch of gags which are funny, but the training montage itself, I'm just thinking like Anna's a terrible teacher. Did you catch this vibe at all? At one point in the montage, he's like, 50 yards from the cans, and then he walks closer and closer and closer, and he still can't hit it point blank. And then the next scene, they're throwing plates up in the air, expecting him to hit those. He hasn't hit anything yet. Why are we moving to the plates so soon?
I mean, maybe she's like Mr. Miyagi him. Like, he doesn't realize he's getting better, and we, the audience, don't realize he's getting better until it's time to actually be better.
He doesn't really get better. I think they show him hit the shoulder of the person on the like painted on the door.
That's all. That's all he had to hit. That's
like,
all he had to do, right, baby? I will say though, while we're on the montage, it's funny because you were like actually noticing like the plot progressing, whereas I just noticed really good falls. This movie has a lot of good falls.
Yeah,
falls and tumbles, which I guess is also like in the spirit of Family Guy, because in my opinion, there's no better falls than like the Peter Griffin fall, right?
That's a good fall. It's a great fall.
3 good falls I noticed. You got the one where Seth falls off the cliff when he shoots, right? I guess from recoil. I couldn't even figure that out because like that guy shouldn't have that kind of.
He just lost his footing.
And there's another one where she tosses, I think, the gun back, and he just falls off the horse.
Yep.
Great tumble.
Yep. I didn't catch all of those. I'm glad you pointed them out.
Yeah, well, there's one more too, but we're not quite there yet. But good falls.
Oh, if you want to drop it now, you go for it.
Good falls and tumbles. Yeah, he's running away from Liam Neeson. He just makes it over the tracks. He beats the train, and then I think he's feeling okay. I'm good. Like I'm gonna set up camp, set up fire, and then somebody in off screen hurls a rock at his head, and he just drops like a sack of potatoes.
Love it. The montage also finishes with like the pot cookie scene.
Oh yeah,
which has one of my favorite lines in it when Seth is me when I'm way too high. Like I know exactly what he's going through, but what he says, my bones are in too deep today.
That's
that
a good
just
line.
really, I'm like, I wish like they did more of this as well. Like some of these things were just like, imagine a cowboy being high. Like it's just super funny.
They had really good chemistry, and I wish they let them cook a little more in that scene because
like the prairie dog knows.
Yeah, right. And like you could tell, like he was definitely drawing on some experiences, or like I guess one of the writer's experiences for sure.
Yeah.
Like you don't just write, I feel my bones too much today. Like somebody felt that.
It's such a good line. Like it's like I honestly feel like I felt that way. Yeah, so they get high, all that stuff, and then we come to the barn hoedown, which I didn't mind it. Like I'm okay with it. You got Bill Maher comes up and does a little bit of a.
I had a qualm with that. I mean, like if the stand up felt right for the moment, but it's like, why Bill Maher?
Yeah, he must have been really popular at the time. Remember 2014, right?
I mean,
his was it Real Time, his show that he has.
Yeah,
but there's also the one bit that did get me is his teleprompter. Instead of being a teleprompter, it's just written on.
That's good.
Just painted on a bunch of massive card thingies.
Like I would have loved if that was like, say, like John Mulaney. Like I think John Mulaney dressed as a cowboy itself is hilarious. Like that's a funny visual gag to begin with.
He's not too far off from what he's like. He usually wears like a suit when he does stand up, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a high-waisted man. It would have looked hilarious.
Yeah. But so what the scene does give us is the if you've only got a mustache song.
Yes.
How did you feel about the song?
I mean, again, without even like, I've seen this movie before, but had I not, I would expect there to be a musical number because it seems like he loves that, right?
What would you say if I told you this is not an original song?
I was just about to say that's an original song. Is it actually not?
It's not. So, and I shit you, this was my last bit of trivia that I had for you. And I shit you not, this song was originally written and recorded in 1864 by a notable composer named Stephen Foster.
Do we know where it was written? In the Midwest or in New York?
I don't know, but like Seth and his team are credited for like adding additional lyrics. Like I have it pulled up here. We could listen to the, this is recorded by the Smithsonian on time period accurate instruments. I'd play it for you, but we don't need to go that far.
Are we going to get sued? By the Foster estate?
Maybe. What's that whole thing? It's
you play it under 5 seconds, it doesn't count.
Or that, or the public domain now. Maybe. Sure. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought that was like, I was just scrolling through IMDb and I don't even know how I just went down to like, I want to learn who wrote some of the songs and jokes and whatnot. And yeah, this is like a song from 1864.
That's
kind of
wild.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
Sadly, the guy died in 1864 as well.
Well, there are a million ways to die in the West.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Hey, there you go. And then this leads to another really funny line where she goes, "Your dick's out," and then she drugs Foy with the laxatives in his character. Yeah.
I missed that part. Like, where did she have those? Like, where did she get those from?
The snake oil salesman.
Okay.
Yeah. Call back. I don't know. I'm just assuming. And then we get a couple other funny little moments. Think of another song. I can't. There's only like 3 songs. Yeah. I thought that was really good. The smiling in photos gag comes back. He found the picture.
He did find the picture.
He gives it to her.
Right. Yeah.
And then a henchman from Clinch's gang sees them kiss. And the movie's about to get a whole lot hairier, I guess.
What's his name? Like Lewis?
Yeah, it's Lewis.
Lewis? Is that a good cowboy name?
I don't know many cowboys myself, so I can't say.
That's fair. Like I know there's was it Llewellyn? That's No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah, true.
But Lewis?
Yeah.
Maybe his full name is Llewellyn and Lewis is short for Llewellyn? Are all Lewis's named Llewellyn?
You're blowing my mind
Probably
here.
Not.
Moving on. What do we go to next after this? There's the duel with Foy. That was, for me, I was kind of grossed out by the whole sequence with the shitting in the hat.
Yeah, but also like, I don't think I like this direction because she really like instilled like confidence. I had confidence that Seth MacFarlane was going to shoot NPH. You know what I mean? Like she spent the whole time building him up only to just like drug him.
I think that was I guess that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, take that
I feel like
false hope from him.
I feel like because he didn't find out. I feel like if he had found out, I don't think he would have liked that.
Probably not. Yeah, it's true. He doesn't find out at all.
Right?
They just ride off into the sun. I actually can't remember. if they ride off into the sunset.
I mean, probably it's a Western. But it just felt cheap, you know? Like, you spend the whole movie building this guy up, telling him, you know, he can do it. She's got faith in him. And then you go and you drug the opponent. Doesn't sit well with me.
No, definitely not. But I did like when the scene itself is really gross. And like he kicks over the hat at one point and it looks like beans. But what I did find funny was like he shits in the first guy's hat. And then he reaches for the second guy's hat. And he just like bats his hand out of the way so nonchalantly, and it's just like he's just like no. And then he grabs it and slaps him in the face with it.
That's pretty good.
It was a good little bit of physical humor, I guess, right? And then we have Clinch coming to town, and this is where I totally forgot Ryan Reynolds was in this, and he just gets shot in the bar.
This also brings me to one of my favorite like tropes in any movie or TV show, where we know something that the main character doesn't know, right?
Right.
Which is we know that he is the one that kissed his wife.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know yet that that's why he's there, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, somebody's going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Which is such an obvious trope, but I don't care. I'm still such a sucker for it.
Yeah. And then he's got to go on the run and he's hiding in the sheep. I thought that was kind of funny that like they couldn't like, could you hide in sheep like that and just not be seen? Like,
I don't think you can.
Like, it
like
seems period accurate.
I mean, their wool doesn't touch the ground. Like when you just see like a grown ass man.
Yeah, just underneath a bunch of sheep.
A bunch of sheep.
Oh, which then, I mean, he gets pissed on by one of the sheep too, which is really gross.
Dicks look like?
I don't know. I hope I never know.
Also, I don't know why, but now I'm thinking like all sheep are female. They're not, clearly. But isn't that something that you think could be a thing?
Is it this is like the rooster and the hen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so what's the male?
The male sheep is a goat.
No, they're
Could be. I made you think for a second.
Yeah, I mean, you did. You got me. I was like, wait, hold on. Am I being pranked?
All goats are males. That's why they're named Billy.
I'm going to stop you there. Did you write material for this? You had some bits? This leads me to one of those moments of the movie where he's like, the running towards the train, like they're going to the train.
Yeah.
And it's like they get stopped by it, but it's like it's a train, like go around the train and continue. But they wait for it to pass. And when it passes, finally, he's on the train with his fucking horse too. How? How did he do that?
I don't know, but like it leads me to believe that horses can't find their way home. If that horse was like sharp enough to get on to the train.
Sharp enough.
Then that horse is like sharp enough to make its way home.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, after this sequence, we kind of run full steam ahead into the end of the movie. You get that Ruth and Edward try to have sex scene, and he goes pretty big, right? And she says, "Oh yeah, you're huge." He says, "I was talking about you."
Yeah,
which I don't know if I get that.
I didn't like any of that. I'm gonna be honest.
It's really weird.
It's like the most on-brand material for Sarah Silverman, which I think she's funny. That wasn't for me at all. Like it's like. Almost a little too raunchy for me.
Yeah, those two as characters, like it got a little weird for me as well. I'm like, okay, I can be done with the whole.
Yeah,
she's.
I mean, I love the contrast, but like also it's just I've had enough of this. Please make it stop.
So after that, we get you talked about Seth hitting the head with a rock, and then he's with the indigenous tribe, and they have him there. I want to ask you. What happened in this scene? Because I had my subtitles turned on. And
I wanted to ask you the same thing. Are we supposed to know what's going on?
Yes, because so what happened was I had my subtitles turned on. We watched this on Prime. We both did. I had my subtitles turned on. And then I was like, wait, hold on. Let me just check. And I turned them off randomly at the end of the sequence.
Okay.
And the actual subtitles are there.
Oh.
So there's so much shit that we missed.
I missed all of that.
I missed
but also
everything.
feel like I missed nothing.
Probably nothing. I feel like there was probably maybe a lot of like offside jokes that we missed.
Yeah.
There was the whole Mila Kunis.
I was going to say that's the only thing I
bit.
picked up on. And the second he said Mila Kunis, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to know what they're saying.
That's what I thought too. I kind of just went away. I went along with it. Like there's definitely no subtitles here. But then I discovered that I had just watched that whole scene.
That's tough.
Why does Prime do that?
All movie streaming services need to figure this out because I feel like this happens a lot to me, and I'm always just kind of like, I don't care. I can follow it.
Yeah, you can pick it up by what's going on in this. They give him the cup. It's obviously like you've seen this before in Simpsons. You've seen this before and whatever. Like the fuck, what's it called? The what does Homer go on? The Spirit Journey or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Spirit Quest or
that's
something.
it,
yeah. But again, I I don't have an excuse, but I like how you were like, fuck it. Like, I'm only like hosting a pod on this movie. There's no point in going back and rewinding and rewatching the scene with the subtitles.
I was getting tired.
We're not experts.
Not experts.
Just two guys who like movies.
Yeah. We like talking about them.
Not enough to like fully dive into filmographies, but enough to say watch Grown Ups like 7 times on a rainy day.
Yes.
That's how I would describe this pod.
Yes. That's the perfect and most accurate description you're going to get. Put that in our trailer. Yeah, so during the hallucination part, though, we do get, in my opinion, 2 pretty funny bits. You get his dad puts horse shit under his pillow in place of the penny from the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
He's the Tooth Fairy's not real. It's just fucking Mando. Now clean up that horse shit.
The parents weren't doing it for me either. I mean, funny bit about like, if I die, will you do me a favor and at least like switch seats just once?
Yeah.
That got me. But other than that, I was like,
What'd you think of one of our faves, Gilbert Godfrey as Lincoln?
I was so hoping you'd bring this up. Because I want to know how you feel about the person who sounds exactly like what your dog's voice would sound like featured in this movie.
Well, so that's not my dog's voice, but yeah, I thought it was pretty funny to have Gilbert Godfrey as Lincoln, and Seth even goes like, "That's not the real Abraham."
Yeah, it's a good.
Obviously,
it's a good bet. They basically just use that entire like Spirit Quest journey trip to just like do cutaway gags.
Yes, yeah, that's all it was there for. Because he didn't learn it. He didn't get better at shooting. He didn't do anything. He didn't figure out how he's going to beat Clinch.
No.
Well, actually, I guess he did because they gave him the rattlesnake venom.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah,
so
they were definitely missing the cutaway gags, and they were like, "Oh, you know what? We can mix them in somehow. Let's do it like this."
Yeah, exactly. And then we get the final showdown with Clinch, and really this just kind of ends. It's just like he shoots him, and he starts monologuing about putting the bullet in rattlesnake venom, and then.
Despite not having the subtitles, did you figure out that that's what was happening? Because it took me way too long to understand that like he was dying.
Oh, that Liam Neeson's character was dying.
The bullet had like, I guess, like inflicted him with.
Well, because like Albert's doing his monologue, right?
Yeah.
He's monologuing the whole time, and then you get Edward. He's just like, "Hey, he's dead."
Yeah, but prior to that, like he doesn't quite look like he's dying yet. You know, he's like maybe like stumbling
he's, like,
a little bit, but I was still kind of like, "What's going on here?"
They doused it in fucking laxative. Now he's shitting his pants
Yeah,
again.
I bet you that's in the other version that we didn't get to see.
Probably, yeah, probably. So, and then for me, the last laugh. Do you have a last laugh of the movie?
Tell me yours first.
Oh, well, it was Django.
Yeah,
I forgot about it, and I just thought it was funny that he
was
came
okay
back.
with it.
And,
Yeah, it's funny.
And
Again,
shot
like,
the wildly inappropriate shooting gallery guy.
Again, like, does he just call up his like why don't actors do this more often? Like, he must have like such a like close knit circle of like A-listers. Like, just bring them in for an after credit scene.
Yeah,
we all
why
have
not?
a good after credit scene. Like,
yeah, we like what Marvel was doing there for a little bit.
Jamie, baby, Seth wants you for an after credit scene.
I hope this voice becomes a reoccurring bit because I love it. I'm all here for
I
it.
don't know who that was. Somebody just walked in the room.
Yeah, there's some lady.
Weird.
She has a cigarette in her mouth in the public
She does
library.
have a cigarette in her mouth. Did you know she had a cigarette in her mouth? You could tell, right?
Yeah, you could tell. It's about a pack a day on a good day.
Darling.
Usually 3 packs. All right, so like, I just want to ask you a couple questions. Now we've talked about the movie at large. We basically dissected every single scene.
We did a
Sorry
good
if that was
rundown.
too much.
I don't know what a rundown is, but that's got to be what a rundown is.
That's the rundown. That's it. I was just wondering things that you didn't like. Anything that popped out to you? You're just like, this really wasn't working for me.
It was just long.
Yeah,
it felt like a slog to get through.
It was.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like at one point, I got up and like did some dishes.
Yeah, you're moving around. You're doing stuff while you're doing stuff, right?
Well, I do like to do stuff while I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
That said, though, I like Seth's career, and like I like that he just does what he likes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just seems like he's just like passionate about certain genres and certain mediums, right?
Yeah.
Like his TV show, The Orville. Like you ever watch that?
Yeah. I've
Like
seen
he's
a
just
couple
a big
episodes.
Star Trek guy. And
Yeah.
like I had no idea of context for like his how he got this made. But like you were saying, you know, oh yeah, like he was just a big, like him and his buddies are just big Western guys. Not Western guys, but like they brainstormed, you know, like a million ways to die in the West, right?
This gets made because like he does Ted. Ted's a huge hit. Like Ted's massive. And then that year he hosts the Oscars in 2013. And then he's kind of like at the top of his game kind of thing, right? And this movie was not a success. I don't think, at least, but
it made money.
It made money. That's why I was. All the articles were like, it's a flop. I'm like, well, it made double its budget.
Yeah.
So I mean, it
wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, it was 40 million,
Again,
made 80.
not experts, but that doesn't sound like a lot of money.
That seems like it was decent. Like, Also, a $40 million budget, that seems pretty high for what we got in the like.
I mean, I have to imagine it's all going to Charlize Theron, right? Because I can't understand how else she gets cast in this movie.
Is there anything that you thought this movie could use more of?
I really wish that there was more. See, it's hard to explain this because there's plenty of screen time with him and Charlize Theron, right? But like, I guess like the purpose of their screen time in this movie is to just progress the plot. But I do kind of wish it was more of them just kind of like dicking around because they seem to have good chemistry.
No, I totally agree. It's like you kind of miss out on that. Just because they go from like Foy is the bad guy to Clinch is the bad guy, you sort of miss out on this like the fun and games moment of it all where they could just like kick loose and like do funny shit for a while.
Seems like the fun and games is just the montage of them shooting.
Yeah,
right?
which
whereas like instead of a montage, like give me some, I don't know. I guess again, them at the fair is pretty good.
Totally agree. All right, so why don't we get into our top 5 scenes? Did you have any ideas? Any rankings? I have my 5, no particular order. We can just run through them, see if we match up.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. You kick off with your 5. There's going to be a lot of overlaps. So let's do it that way.
So for me, like, one of my favorites was the bar fight.
Yeah,
I love that. That one was great.
Where does that rank for you? Did you rank them?
I didn't really. So for me, it's like 1, 2 are like I don't know which one is 1 and which one is 2, but bar fight and ice shipment. Are my 2 favorites, I think, of the entire movie. And I don't know. I think I might go Ice Shipment 1.
Really?
Yeah. Just and then I like the. Well, why don't you tell me what your 2 are?
The bar fight for me is definitely number 1.
Okay.
Haircut number 1. Like that's. I mean, it's right up my alley because I like to think that's what I would have done too.
Yeah. That's me. Like
Did you see that one guy? Man, like you got shot in the chest. All you had to do is just pour him a shot.
Yeah. It's crazy. I would not survive in the Wild West.
No,
I would not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
My number 2 would either be the ice or the dollar because the dollar really got me. I didn't see it coming.
The dollar's really funny.
And the Canadian me is coming out too because when he handed him a dollar bill, I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, true. It was like because it was huge.
I fully expected it to be a loony. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's fair. I was struck by it because it was like massive. It was like it looked
really
like
big.
it looked like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper.
Yeah, it was really big.
I had that. So that's my top 3 as well, basically. And then there's the Hoedown mustache song, which I really enjoyed.
That was fun.
And
I don't know if you remember, because this movie came out like a decade ago, but do you remember the trailer for this?
No.
Great trailer.
Good trailer.
The trailer was basically like just screen grabs from that dance scene.
Oh, okay.
Like I remember it'd be like NPH and it'd be him, like, you know what I mean? He's leading the charge in the dance. Same thing with like Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
Good trailer.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Probably not though.
There's no need to now. You should probably, again, we're not experts. Probably something we should have done beforehand.
Watch the trailer.
Something we should have done beforehand.
Is that your Sean Connery?
No, that was my Tom Cruise. You got the rabbit's foot. that's Mission Impossible 3. That was my Bill
Yoda,
Hader.
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, it was yours too.
Bill Hader. Why? We'll get to that movie. So my top 5 rounds out with the Hoedown mustache song and Albert's bar rant. That's my 5.
Bar rant's pretty good.
Yeah. Did you have anything different?
The sheep, that's not even a scene. It's just a cutaway. The sheep on the roof made me laugh.
Yeah.
It's a good bit.
You see him near at the end, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's up there like multiple times.
Yeah.
Because I think in the very beginning he's there too.
That's awesome.
I think he's telling like Amanda Seyfried like about, I don't know.
No, she's ripping on him because he's a bad sheep
That's what
farmer
it
for
is,
letting him on the. Your sheep are everywhere. What's he say about Bridget? The one sheep named Bridget.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what it was now.
Nope.
Okay, so who is your most valuable comedian of the movie?
I mean, it's tough. Oh my God. We completely forgot to address this. And this is something that I actually really want your thoughts on. When Liam Neeson goes down after getting hit with the rock,
yes.
Charlize Theron plants a flower in his ass. Is that really Liam Neeson's ass? And are they really letting him or letting them put a flower in his ass? Or
I
is it a
fucking hope
stunt
so.
ass?
I hope so. Like that would be so cool. Like Liam Neeson's down for anything. He's like, yeah, fuck it, do it. Put a
That was the
dandelion in my butt.
trade-off. He's like, listen, if you're gonna put a dandelion in my ass, I could do the Irish accent.
Yeah, that's it. I think Seth would have been like Seth would have let him do anything he wanted. Just let him put a dandelion in his ass. Like,
I think that definitely rounds out my top 5. Not even because it's like a funny moment in the movie, but just like the context of it. I need to know how it happened.
yeah.
And I need to know if that's his ass.
I should have done some research so you could tell all the fine folks at home.
Yeah, let me just Google Liam Neeson's ass A Million Ways to Die.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. I'm sure it will come up just fine. Nothing bad with that.
Somebody's doing it right now. They're like, actually, it came up right away. It was the first link.
That's exactly what they sound like. So your most valuable comedian.
It's Seth.
Yeah, it's Seth. For me, it was Seth or Ribisi. Just the way he's like, Ribisi's he's not making any jokes really. He's just so good at what he does. Oh, we didn't even talk about this. He brings back the Ted dance at the hoedown. He does he's sipping on his little drink, doing his little Ted dance.
I like that.
Alrighty. And now we're gonna wrap things up with head to head. This is where we kind of pick a group of movies from the same general year. I say general year. Rip likes to keep it to the year.
Sure.
I kept it to the year this time. But I'll run you through this a bit of a lightning round, and you tell me if it's better or not.
Okay.
Basically. All right. So Neighbors.
Ooh. Neighbors 1?
Neighbors 1, yeah.
It's not better than Neighbors 1.
No, definitely not. Not even close.
No.
Not even close. Okay.
It's been a while. I actually did have to think about that because I don't remember.
I don't have to think about that.
I feel like Neighbors isn't as popular outside of like our social circle.
I love Neighbors. I think it's hilarious. I love Neighbors.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's easily better than this movie. How about 22 Jump Street?
No.
You don't think?
Oh, sorry. I don't think this movie's funnier than 22 Jump Street. 22 Jump Street is like what? One of the odd movies that's like better than the original.
Yeah. On par, if not better.
Yeah.
Man. The Interview.
This is better than The Interview.
I haven't seen The Interview in a long time, but I would be inclined to say that as well.
I haven't seen The Interview in forever, but I do remember watching it being like, this is not good.
Yeah. Let's Be Cops. Have you seen that one?
I have seen that one. No, I don't think this is better than that movie.
Yeah, I think Let's Be Cops.
That's a good one. That's a good duo. We got what? Nick and Coach from New Girl, right?
Yes, Nick and Coach. I can't remember the name.
That's actually a good movie.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Is that on anything?
We'll have to check. Maybe we'll do it next.
Okay.
Sex Tape.
I would say like they're probably on par. It's been a while since I've seen that one too.
I don't know if I ever have, so I can't say.
I've definitely seen it. I feel like I probably watched it closer to when it came out because now as an adult, I don't think I'd find it funny. I think I'd find it terrifying.
Yeah, fair.
That as a grown adult, like your dick is just out there on the internet.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, as someone who's been in a relationship for like 20 fucking years, I'm confident my dick is not out there on the internet. But I'm confident somebody we know's dick is definitely on the internet. That's not me hinting that like I know it is. Like I just know. Like the odds are one of our friends has their dick on the internet.
Well, moving on. So these next two movies, we haven't been doing this much, so I want to get a feel for if you think we should include movies that are kind of comedy adjacent. They're not straight up comedies, but are very funny in their own right. Lego Movie, I guess it is kind of more of a comedy, but it's different than most.
I've actually never seen the Lego Movie.
Okay, I think Lego Movie's funnier.
If it's funny, then like I would bring it in. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like I mean, just two guys talking movies. Like
just two guys talking movies.
Hey, does it make you laugh?
The George format. It's fluid. It's fluid. And then the next one, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen that one too. I'm really like marveled out, so I feel like my image is like probably tainted. I would think like obviously that's the better movie.
Yeah,
but I don't think it would be as funny.
I seem to remember it being funny, and probably funnier than this movie.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. That's where I would land on that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hot take if you said that, or if I don't think either are hot takes. I think they're just takes.
Yeah, they're just takes.
But I feel like this is also way more my sense of humor, whereas like Marvel's sense of humor is like, you know, for their target audience, whereas like
it's generalized. It's like general humor. This one
feels more up my alley.
This is Seth MacFarlane, who you love.
Like you're not going to get Ice Cube jokes like in that one.
No,
and that's what sets me off, right?
Yeah. Oh, man, Ice Shipment. This is so good. Alrighty, so you think this movie has a case for the funniest movie ever?
No, I do not at all.
Neither do I. I would agree with you. Fun watch.
Yeah, I'm
glad we did it. I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break before we get into our last segment of the pod, which is Writer's Room. And we're back, and we're doing Writer's Room. Rip, why don't you tell our adoring fans what Writer's Room is?
Chaps and myself give each other 3 prompts, and we use those prompts to create a movie. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. We are not writers. We are armchair experts.
Yes. All right, kick it off.
Okay, so Chaps gave me Maya Hawke. a coming-of-age movie, and a thorn bush is the object.
Nice.
So I had to look up who Maya Hawke is because I'm not hip with younger actors and actresses.
I did this on purpose to force you to look
But
up
I actually
people.
have seen some of her stuff. I saw that movie. I don't know what it's called, but it's got the one actress from Riverdale in it.
Okay.
Anyways, it was good, and I liked her in it. So basically, I created a flick from like the 80s or 90s that we've all watched. Maya Hawke is playing a lifeguard at a summer camp, Camp Thornbush.
Yep.
Named after its pleasant surroundings, especially the giant front and center thorn bush of the camp. So yeah, what you've gathered already is that this camp is shit. It's barely funded. The counselors are who's of misfits. Much like the campers, basically I want you to think like, you know, you're a bunch of ragtag campers, like say kicking and screaming, little giants.
Yeah.
What's another one? Theater Camp. Have you seen Theater Camp?
I haven't, but I think it's on my list to watch. That's newer, right?
It is newer. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So we have, you know, our misfit counselors, our misfit kids. And then across the lake, we have, of course, a camp with all the bells and whistles. So again, much like every 90s or 80s movie, right? Our antagonists are just beyond reach. And of course, they want to buy the camp.
Ooh.
So a bit of context here. Maya was not forced to work here by her parents or teachers, or, you know, that trope where like they have a shitty summer job to like put away money for college, right?
Yeah.
No, Maya chose to come here on purpose. She came at her own will, as this is the last summer before college, and she feels that despite the dog shit facilities, she became the person she is today, and she owes one last summer to this camp.
Driven by a very strong moral compass.
Of course. So our antagonists are trying to buy this camp for pennies on the dollar. The first step is to have it condemned for safety reasons, a la the multitude of thorn bushes.
Oh, fuck. So many scrapes.
I don't think that you could actually condemn someone
So many scrapes
for thorn bushes.
So many
I think you
scrapes,
could
bro.
You just pull
They're
the
in the
thorn
nurse's
bushes
room
out.
every day. All those thorns.
If you guys don't pull out these thorn bushes, I'm gonna have to condemn this place.
Listen.
Anyway, what I'm getting to here is basically the camp is going to clean up the area, pull out some of these thorn bushes, and we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned Camp Jamboree Tournament Showdown Battle-Off.
That was a lot of words, but I loved it.
It was, because I couldn't really think of how else to describe it. I wanted to work Jamboree into, right?
It sounds like exactly what I'm picturing at a camp, like the end day of camp.
Right? So, of course, our protagonist will win through love and, you know, all the weird traits that these campers possess. They somehow harness them into edges rather than faults. Much like Theater Camp, Little Giants, Kicking and Screaming, etc.
Yes.
I didn't think of bits per se, but I did think of like examples of characters just to really round out what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
There's always a kid who can't swim.
Always.
Always.
Don't go to camp.
Why are you at camp?
Or learn to swim first. Go to swimming camp.
Always has a puffer.
Yeah.
Always has a puffer. There's always a kid who's allergic to everything.
Yeah.
So, like,
also, don't go to camp.
Again. So in this case, like, of course, he would be allergic to thorn bushes.
Yeah. Specifically.
Specifically thorn bushes. And then there's the one kid who obviously bullies people, but it's because he's like super insecure.
Yeah.
Like he secretly like loves to dance or something.
Yeah. He probably does that at the end to help save the camp.
That's a good one, right? It comes down to like a dance off.
Yeah,
Like,
and he's the only one that can do it.
like Brett, like
Brett,
you
what a great
you
name.
haven't gone and you have to go yet. Oh no, it's dancing, and he's like,
I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that. Oh, that's great. That's a great one. You got anything else, or
no? That rounds out what I got. So hit me with what you got.
Yeah. So last week, Rip gave me John Turturro, a comedy, and Puppies. John Turturro of Transformers fame. Anybody? I love him. He's a great actor. So in this one, I have John Turturro playing Marco. Marco once was an award-winning dog groomer who was barred from the Westminster Dog Show for giving an illegal haircut to a Bichon. Now Marco runs a puppy care center, and he helps get the puppies acclimated to grooming. One day, he's approached by an up-and-coming groomer named Fredwick, who is played by John Boyega. And Fredwick wants to learn from the best in the business. So together they go on a globe-spanning mentorship journey, and all roads lead to Westminster.
Oh.
Yeah, the dog show, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's only one.
I don't have any other bits or anything like that. I kind of wrote it. I said you gave it to me last week. You gave it to me today.
I did give it to you this morning. I would just like to point out, I love that you name your characters.
Oh, I feel like it helps paint a bigger picture of like the vibe I'm going for.
He looks
and
like a Marco. He could pull off a Marco.
Yeah,
for
he pulls off a Marco, and I find the idea of John Turturro doing like jobs like that
Yeah.
just to be hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Like when he's a secret agent, funny for some reason. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Like I forget his other rules, but I know they're also funny.
He has a good smirk, a good snarky smirk too. You
Yeah.
know? Like I feel like that would fit in really well with dog grooming people.
I'm sure it would. Alrighty, well that does it for Rip and I on the pod this week.
Great.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back next time.
Maybe.
Maybe.